Hello college algebra student. This video is for chapter 2.5 quadratic equation. So in the last video we talked about how we can solve a quadratic equation by factoring and also by taking square root. They're very easy to do, much easier than doing a quadratic formula. So the third method is solve an equation by completing the square. So when we would use this instead of quadratic formula, we would use this method if your a is equal to 1 and b is even. The example would be this one, x squared minus 8x plus 4. So you can see that a is equal to 1. That means you don't have 2x or 3x. It's just x squared. Then your b is even. So either the 2, 4, 6, 8, or 10. Okay. And then for some reason it's not factorable, right? So if you use diamond to factor, it's not factorable. But if you have this case where this is 1x squared and it is an even x, then completing the square is actually a faster method than doing a quadratic formula. So let's see how we can do this. So this is the steps. The idea is if you have x squared plus bx on this side, and then you plus something, you go to c, so you minus c, you put your c on the other side. So this could be made into a square by adding b divided by 2 square. So you look at the coefficient of b, only if this a is 1, okay? Look at this b, you divide it by 2 and you square it on both sides. You would create a square term, just what you have. What we have in taking square root. You see how there's a square term. Why does it happen? Because we can add b over 2 square on this side and we would have a square term, and then we can take square root. Okay, so let's do an example like this. This fits the requirement of x squared and also a even number of b, and it is not factorable. If it's factorable, don't use this. Just factor it right away, right? So I'm going to move this, the x squared and x on this side, and the constant term, now I'm going to move to the other side. So it will become x squared minus 8x minus 4, right? Oh gosh, what happened? Minus 4, right? So it'll be x squared minus 8x equal to negative 4. So I need to add something to make this side being a square. So the number that we'll add would be negative 8 divided by 2 and then square it. So negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. It is an even number, so you can always divide it. And after that, you square it. It's a positive number, 16. X squared plus 8, minus 8x. I don't change it. Okay, it's a minus. Plus 16. And then negative 4. Also plus 16. You have to add on both sides so that the equation is the same. And now you can factor it. This would become a perfect square of x plus 4. Because if you square root of 16 is 4. Square. This is a square. Oh, it is a negative. It's a subtraction because it's a negative. So this is a negative b. So factor as x minus b over 2 square. So maybe you can complete the square would be, it will be x minus b over 2 square. No, it's actually plus, right? X plus. In our case, it's a minus. Yeah, it's a plus equal to 2 equal to something. Okay, so in this case, it's equal to 12. Okay, is this a minus because you have a negative 8? Okay, you have it, it will be factored like this. And then you see how you have a square group and then a number. You're ready to do the solving. So you will take square on this side, square root on this side, x minus 4 square equal to plus and minus square root 12. You always add the plus and minus things. And then so these two cancel. You would have x minus 4 equal to plus and minus square root 12. Plus and minus square root 12 is square root 4 times square root 3. So you would say x minus 4 equal to plus and minus 2 root 3. Clean up the 4 because you want x equal. X would equal to 4 plus and minus 2 would 3. So it's actually 2 answer because you plus 4 on both sides, right? Plus 4 plus 4. I can't have 2 egg color. So x would equal to 4 plus 2 would 3, 4 minus 2 would 3, and that's the answer. Okay, so if you like this method, you don't have to do the quadratic formula. It's a little faster, but it has to be in this particular setup. So the next thing is quadratic formula. So if you cannot factor it, you cannot factor your equation ax squared plus bx plus c. You cannot do completing the square, and there's no square term, so all you have left is quadratic formula. It can solve any quadratic equation. Okay, so the formula is x is equal to negative b plus and minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. How can they get this? You can look at the book. The book has a good description on how come starting from here we'll get here. So all it does is you actually basically do it completing the square, and after you do completing the square, it becomes this. Okay, so let's solve this few. I have 4 examples that I want to do. They would cover all different types of situations. So first is x squared minus x minus 4. So now when you solve quadratic equation using quadratic formula, make sure all your terms is on one side. Write equations so everything is on one side and 0 on the other. So it have to be all the quadratic equal to 0. And then you can write down a equal to what? A equal to 1. It's not that. So if there's a nothing here, that means a equal to 1. B equal to not 1 but negative 1. And C is equal to negative 4. So be aware of those negative number. And then you can just write the answer right away. A equal to negative B, negative of negative 1. So you can write down negative of negative 1. Plus and minus. So in essence, it become 1, right? Negative 1 square. So remember to do negative 1 whole, negative 1 square. So this become a positive number also. Minus 4. A is 1. C is negative 4. Okay. All over 2 times 1. So it's 2. So now usually we would do the inside first, right? So that would equal to 1, negative of negative 1 plus and minus. So what is inside? 1 minus 4 times negative 4. So that is 1 minus negative 16. It becomes 1 plus 16, right? So it's become 17 over 2. Okay. So that's the answer. 1 plus and minus square root 17 over 2. If you need to, you have to simplify. Like if there's this perfect root number and stuff, you need to. But if there is none, you just leave it that way. So solve 2x squared plus 5x equal to negative 3. Can I do it right away? No. You have to move this number over so you have everything on one side. Plus 5x. How can I get rid of this? I add 3 on both sides, right? F3, so that everything is on one side. Oh, this one is very good. Everything is positive. A is equal to 2. B is equal to 5. C is equal to 3. Let's see. So x would equal to negative 5 plus and minus square root of b squared. B squared is 5 squared minus 4 times a times 3. Okay. This is a 5 squared all over 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So now I do the inside also. Is 5 squared is 25 minus 8 times 3, 24. So that's equal to 1. So negative 5 plus and minus square root 1 over 4. Now 1 is a perfect square, so you ought to do it. Okay, so because 17 is not a perfect square, so you don't have to. You leave it at the way exactly it is. But if it is not, then you have to do it. Negative 1 plus 1, because square root 1 is 1 over 4. Negative 5, not negative 1. Negative 5 plus 1 over 4. And also negative 5 minus 1 over 4. So negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4, so it's negative 1. So this would be negative 6 over 4 is negative 3 over 2. So we have two answers. X is equal to negative 1. X is equal to negative 3 over 2. So if it is a perfect square, you can check by, using a calculator. Then you actually have to do all the way. So don't leave it the way it is. This is not done yet. And when you split it, do the plus and minus separately. One is a plus, one is a minus. Okay. Can we finish this one? So this one is very good. Everything is on one side. So we say A equal to 3, B equal to negative 5, C equal to 1. So X is equal to negative B, negative of negative 5, plus or minus B squared. Now B is negative 5, so write it this way. Square root by bracketing it. Okay, minus 4 times 3 times 1. But my C is 1, so there's no negative number to subtract. You are subtracting a positive number, all over 6. So in this case, it will be 5 plus and minus 25 minus what? Minus 12, right? 3 times 4 times 1 is 12 over 6. 25 minus 12 is 5 plus and minus square root of 13 over 6. 13 is not a perfect square, so we leave it the way it is, and there's nothing to simplify. In your worksheet, there are things you can simplify, but not in this one. Okay, one more. Oh, but this is not A, because my x squared is like all mixed up, so I need to rewrite it. Negative x squared plus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so you could, if you want to, some people do not like the A to be negative. You can multiply the whole thing by negative 1 to change it, or you can just use it the way it is. So A is negative 1, B is 4, and C is 1. So let's finish doing this. X is equal to negative B will be negative 4 plus and minus B squared is 4 squared. Okay, this is a negative B, this is a B squared, minus 4 times A, or A, C is 1 all over negative 2. Okay, so let's do the inside. So it'll be 16 minus negative 4. So that would be 16 plus 4. So that's 20. So do the inside, 20. So I would have negative 4 plus and minus square root of 20 over negative 2. So now negative 2, no, this is not negative 20, square root 20. Square root 20 is a, what is it called? It's something that I can simplify, right? So it's negative 4 plus and minus, okay, 4 times 5, so it's 2 root 5 over 2, negative 2. So now I want to simplify the negative 2, so I factor negative 2 out in the top. So become 2 plus and minus root 5 over negative 2, and I cancel those. So it'll be 2 plus and minus root 5 equal to 2 plus and minus root 5. So sometimes you can do that. Now, all of this formula, all of this question that I have here does not involve I. Some of the question that you have in your worksheet has I. So if you have a negative square root, you would simplify it as I. Okay. So that's solved by quadratic formula, and I'll do a next video on how to solve by using graph method and looking at something called a discriminant.